The Detroit Red Wings have been hot and cold this season. Right now, their biggest problem is putting the puck in the back of the net. Brian Fisher of Locked On Red Wings is here to talk about how they get things straightened out. All that and more on today's Locked On NHL podcast.
You're Locked On NHL, your daily podcast on the National Hockey League. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Gil Martin here. Welcome, everybody, to the Monday edition of the Locked On NHL podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. I want to thank everyone who makes Locked On NHL your first listen every day. Don't forget to subscribe on YouTube or wherever you listen to podcasts so you don't miss an episode. Today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. Download the FanDuel app now by visiting FanDuel.com and win $300 in bonus bets if your first $5 bet wins. It is my pleasure to welcome back to the show the host of Locked On Red Wings, Brian Fisher. And Brian, kind of been a roller coaster ride for the Wings this year. They get off to a really good start, but now they're on a 3-game losing streak. What has been the biggest problem for this team as far as, getting things together and staying consistent?
Well, you said it just a moment ago. It's putting the puck in the back of the net. They have not been scoring goals. They have 4 goals in the last 4 games. In the last 95-ish shots, they threw this graphic up on the ticker on Sunday. The last 95-ish shots, they have a shooting percentage of 2. And now this is through, let's see if this is updated up until, because this game, we're recording this right after the Blackhawks game, so I don't know if it's updated to this point or not, but through 16 games played, the Red Wings rank 30th in the NHL in 5-on-5 shooting percentage. Yet, their shot attempt share at 5-on-5 is 7th, and their expected goal share is 12th. So a huge rift in their expected goals and the goals they're actually scoring. And I think Sunday was against the Blackhawks, 5-1 loss to the Blackhawks in a game in which, when the number of the players on the ice were even, the Red Wings absolutely dominated. And it wasn't just like, the Red Wings are shooting from everywhere on the ice, but nothing was high quality. Red Wings outchanced the Blackhawks at 5-on-5, 27-13. But when it mattered most, when the puck got on their stick in high danger areas, they just missed the net. It happened time and time again. Or you'd have huge saves, a 2-on-1 where Raymond goes back to Larkin, big toe saves by Soderblom. On Friday, Patrick Kane gets hooked by Jonathan Quick a little bit, making it so he can't finish when he's literally only one in front of the net. But I can't excuse that. I mean, when you're literally right there and there's the only thing separating you and a goal is 2 inches of ice, I don't care if you got hooked a little bit. Find a way to get that in the back of the net. It's bad luck. It's bad shooting. It's bobbled passes. It's not getting into the front of the eyes of the goalie. They're dominating the play. But, man, when it comes to putting that puck into high-danger areas, they are lost right now. And it's something part of me believes will sort itself out. Like, you're not going to go 82 games shooting 7% as a team. It's just not going to happen, especially when you have Larkin and Raymond, who have both been 30-goal scorers. Kane has scored 20-plus in back-to-back years. DeBrincat came one shy of 40 last season, and who Casper, I believe, can score 20-plus goals. They will find the back of the net, but what is being hurt is my belief in how much that will bounce back. Because before, they had a low shooting percentage but were winning games, and I believed they would get even better because they would start scoring more goals eventually. Well, now they're not scoring any goals, and they're starting to lose games because of that. So you're not escaping with points with low shooting percentages anymore. And so now and part of it is recency bias. It's you're on a 3-game losing streak, so vibes are low right now. But it has gotten more and more frustrating. And the other thing, too, is the special teams has fallen off completely, too. You mentioned that as well. On the weekend, the penalty kill went 1 for 6, and the power play went 0 for 9. And the power play last year was top 10 in the league. The penalty kill this year has been top 10. Power play has been top 15. You thought it would find its groove again with Patrick Kane returning, and just nothing doing on special teams either. Special teams has been a disaster the last 3 games. I again believe that will, fix itself. But when both 5-on-5 shooting percentage and your special teams aren't working together at the same time, it's hard to win hockey games.
besides hoping that things average out, how do you fix this if you're the head coach of the Detroit Red Wings?
Well, I think he tried. They recalled Nate Danielson on Sunday. A couple hours before the game, he made his NHL debut. That was the Red Wings' 2023 ninth overall pick. The Red Wings rolled a power play unit 2 out on the ice on Sunday that had Marco Kasper, their eighth overall pick from 2022. Nate Danielson, their 9th overall pick from 2023. Axel Sandin Pellikka, their 17th overall pick from 2023. Emmett Finney, their 7th rounder from 2023. Albert Johansson. They had everybody on that line was under 25, except for James Van Riemsdyk, who's 36 years old. But, I mean, they're injecting youth into the lineup, hoping that can cause a spark, and to an extent, it's working. These young kids are coming in, they're playing hard, they're getting a lot of really good looks and opportunities, but they're not finding the back of the net either, and neither are the veterans right now. So a lot of it has to do with shaking up the lineup, and they've done that. And on Sunday, it was a fresh new look for the bottom 6 rather. No, we had second line too, because you had Comfort at center for that line, and they still couldn't score goals, even despite dominated the game. Couldn't score.
Talk to me about Dylan Larkin. He's, first 15 games, 18 points. He leads the team in plus minus. What is there left to say about this guy? He's been so good for the past few years.
Dylan Larkin likes to get out to hot starts. With him, it's about health. The thing that stops him from taking his game to the next level is at some point during every season, because he plays a hard game. He's not just like a skill guy who kind of floats around and makes moves. He gets into the corners and he battles, and inevitably at some point every single season, he gets banged up that either takes him out of the lineup or stops him from playing 100%, and it shows. But every season he starts hot, and this year is a little bit hotter than normal. He has been incredible, and he's the only guy who scored on Sunday in that Detroit Red Wings 5-1 loss to the Chicago Blackhawks, because he's not afraid to do anything. He participates on every element of the game, and that's what makes him such a good captain, and in my opinion, a very underrated center in the league, is there's not a part of his game that's weak. Defensively, he's probably your best defensive forward. Offensively, he's your most consistent offensive forward, he and Raymond. He gets into the corner. He plays a heavy game. He's not afraid to mix it up after the whistle. He does everything right. And he starts hot because of it. So hopefully he can just maintain it and he doesn't cool off to too much as the season progresses. Dylan Larkin's he's the captain of the Detroit Red Wings, and he deserves to be so.
Where are we at with the Yzerplan now, and what does it take for this team to get into the playoffs this year?
That is such a good question, and mainly it's because they're so close. They were so close last season and even closer the year before. They missed on a tiebreaker 2 seasons ago. That year they were outscoring their problems. They were so bad defensively, but they talk about a team that could finish. That team scored on every shot they took. Last season, that came back down to earth. Their power play, though, was incredible. Top 5 in the league. But their PK was the worst in franchise history, almost the worst in the league history. If their PK is league average last season, they probably make up that extra 5 points and make the playoffs. So really, in a difficult Atlantic Division and a difficult Eastern Conference, it's just putting it all together. Every year you can point at one thing and say, this is a whole. It's a competitive division. There's not one team in the NHL this season that is tanking, intentionally tanking. They're all playing hard. They all want to win hockey games. And you look at Chicago, Anaheim, and San Jose, right? Last few years, they were the laughingstocks of the league. This season, they're young, they're fast, they're fun. The Red Wings just witnessed that firsthand. They had to go through a gauntlet of Cutter Gauthier, Macklin Celebrini, and Connor Bedard in the last week and a half. And those guys all look so good. So, it's just going to be putting it all together. That's really what it comes down to. And the Red Wings have a lot of youth. I already listed off a bunch of first-round picks who are on this team right now, a bunch of recent draft picks. But it's just, if you're going to want to make the playoffs, you got to play a tight game. And you can't have lapses. And you got to put the puck in the back of the net. So if you were to ask me, do I think they can make the playoffs? I'd say yes. If you were to ask me, do I think they could miss the playoffs? I would also say yes. Because it's going to be neck and neck all season long. And for me, until they make the playoffs, the rebuild's not over.
Fair enough. All right, Brian, why don't you tell our viewers and our listeners where they could find the podcast and where they could find you on social media?
You can find me on social media at LO_Red Wings. So that's the pod's account. I'm at Brian Fisher, LORW. And my co-host's account is at Bentley Scotty. And you can find us on our podcast on YouTube or anywhere else you get your podcasts. I'm used to saying that. That is Locked On Red Wings, of course.
All right, Brian, thank you so much.
Of course. I appreciate it, Gil.
Today's episode is brought to you by Indeed. You just realized your business needed to hire someone yesterday. How can you find amazing candidates fast? Easy. Just use Indeed. When it comes to hiring, Indeed is all you need. Stop struggling to get your job post seen by other sites. Indeed Sponsored Jobs puts your post at the top of the page and helps you reach the right candidates faster. I've been in that spot where you need to hire like yesterday. The pressure is on, and every day without the right person is a setback. That's exactly where Indeed Sponsored Jobs come in handy. They make sure your post is seen by the right candidates right now. Now you could speed up your hiring process with a $75 sponsored job credit. Just go to Indeed.com/lockedon right now and support our show by saying you heard about Indeed on this podcast. Terms and conditions apply. That's Indeed.com/lockedon. Hiring, Indeed, is all you need.